we can post on our website. So today we are going to be welcoming our District Manager of Operations and Special Projects, including being our summer school district point, Paula Stein, who will facilitate for us, present, and help us answer any questions. Before we do that, we'd like to ask our interpreters, first, of course, thank them for being here, but then ask them to please announce the telephone numbers and the conference ID numbers for our Spanish and Mandarin lines. Can we start with our Spanish interpreter first and then Chinese?
Great, thank you, Christine. Hola, soy Lisandra. La señora Defina y yo seremos sus intérpretes esta mañana. Si necesita interpretación, por favor, marque al número 347-966-4114 y use la clave 668-136-444 y el signo de numeración. Por favor, no olviden silenciar sus micrófonos para que todo el mundo pueda entender muy claramente lo que estamos diciendo. Ok, muchas gracias.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This is the Chinese interpreter speaking, giving the instructions to the language line. 各位说中文的家长，如果你们需要翻译的话，你们可以打电话进入那个只有音频哈，进入翻译的专线。电话是347-966-4114。再一次347-966-4114。然后呢，你们可以按这个电话会议的 ID， 就是949-283-842。然后井字号，再一次是949-283-842井字号，谢谢 ，Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And if you can, it would be appreciated if you have the opportunity to drop that in the chat as well for those who may join late. So, okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Paula to get us started. Paula, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, everybody. Welcome today. I'm going to give you some information about our Summer Rising program. Here is our agenda. We will hear an overview of the program. I will be sharing important dates with you, and then we'll talk a little bit about the enrollment portal.
各位家长，我们今天呢会有给你们介绍一下这个课程。Sorry.
And how to access it. Okay, so what is Summer Rising? Summer Rising is, it's animated. I'm very much into animation, so a lot of this is animated. Okay, so Summer Rising is a partnership between the Department of Education and the Department of Youth and Community Development, or DYCD. When you hear me say DYCD during this presentation, it means the Department of Youth and Community Development. Summer Rising is serving New York City students in grades K to 8. It's free to all families. It's a full day. So we have our academics in the program, which is DOE-led programming, and that takes place from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then we also have our extended day enrichment led by DYCD's CBO, which is the community-based organization providing that extended day enrichment until 6 o'clock. So these are the summarizing dates for grades K to 5. It's from July 5th to August 18th, and for grades 6 through 8, July 5th through August 11th. So it's important to point out that the academics end at August 11th for K to 5, but that the CBO extended enrichment day continues until the 18th. The hours for the day runs from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And again, the DOE-led programming is from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. with the extended day enrichment led by the DYCD CBO until 6 p.m. For 12-month IEP, students with 12-month IEPs, here are the program dates. So for District 25, the program starts July 6th and runs until August 15th with a run time of 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. For ESY programs, extended school year, that runs from July 5th through August 14th with a run time of 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. ACD programs run from July 5th to August 1st, and their day is 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And you'll see an asterisk next to each of those end times because students with 12-month IEPs will have the choice to participate in extended day enrichment hours, which means at the end of their day, they can stay to 6 o'clock for that enrichment. Programming through August 11th, and that's for grades 6 to 8 students, and through August 18th for grades K to 5 students. Okay, so now I'm going to discuss transportation for the summer. So eligible students will be bused according to their program schedule start and end times, but no later than 3 p.m. Metro cards will be available for eligible students. 6 p.m. rideshare will be available for students with curb to school busing and for students in temporary housing, as well as students in foster care. For full transportation details and eligibility information, please visit the website www.schools.nyc.government enrollment summer grades K to 8 for more information. And we will be dropping this link into the chat box throughout the presentation, as this is your landing page for everything you need to know for Summer Rising, including everything I'm saying today and more. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the enrollment portal. Oh, and I just want to say, students who enroll in a Summer Rising seat via the application portal are accessing a full day seat 8 to 6. Families with scheduling concerns around full day attendance should contact their CBO once they're placed in the program. For students in an ACD, D75 or ESY programming, if the family doesn't want extended day enrichment for their child, and their child will only be participating in the ASD programming until 12 or the D75 ESY programming until 2:30, you can contact your child's school. You're automatically enrolled, so you don't have to use the portal. But if you would like your child to participate in an extended day enrichment, please use the application portal for that. I'm going to walk you through how to do that right now. Okay, so the enrollment portal is live. So it opened up yesterday and it will remain open until May 1st. So the portal window is from April 17th to May 1st. Notification of placement will occur between May 2nd and May 9th. So a week after the portal closes. Families will be able to update or withdraw their application within that application window, and I'll talk more about that later. Families are encouraged to apply to as many programs as possible to maximize their chances of placement. So in the summer site where your school, your child will attend, there could be a few different CBOs within that site, and you'll have the opportunity to apply to those. You will be applying to an individual CBO program operating at that school site. Like I just said, in some cases, there may be one CBO program. You can apply from any device, or you may ask your parent coordinator to assist you in applying, and they will print the confirmation of your registration for you. Okay, so this letter was backpacked to families. It's available in different languages and should have been sent to you in the appropriate language. This flyer explains the steps for using the portal. Please contact your parent coordinator if you haven't received this. I would love to show you where you can access the portal. So Christine, if you don't mind, on the top where it says application portal, it's hyperlinked. So when you click this link, it brings you to the landing page for Summarizing 2023. Here is where you're going to get all the information that you need. If you see on the bottom left-hand corner, there is a blue button that says Apply for Summarizing C. This is the button that you will click to access your application to the program. If you can just click that so they can see, if you haven't already gone onto this website, this is what you're going to see when you click on that button, and you're going to see that green button. And if you click that, that is going to open up your application. So we can go ahead and click that just to show them what that looks like. And so here it is, and what you're going to see, the first thing you have to do is you have to apply your information. You have to enter your information. And there's a little reminder that if you need to update your contact information on file with your child's school, you can do so via your NYC schools or NYC account or by contacting your own school. But here's where, this is your first step, and here's where you're going to enter that information. So at this point, I'm going to ask to switch back to the PowerPoint. And I'm going to run you through pictures of the portal so you guys can see what that experience might look like. So I'll do a little bit of a demonstration for you. Okay, so again, this is the Summarizing portal demonstration. The link that's on this slide is the actual link, the direct link into the portal. So if you don't want to go to that landing page, here's the link for you, and we can drop that in the chat box at some point. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to click that green button that says Apply Now to access the application like we just saw. At the top of each section where you see that yellow arrow in the upper right-hand corner, here you will have the option of changing the language. On every single page that you go to in this application, you will have the option to change the language in the language that is most comfortable for you. Okay, so the next slide. Okay, so again, here is where you're going to enter your guarding information. This is your next step. So that's where you're going to put that, fill that out completely, and then click Continue on the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, so now we come to page 2 of the application. This is where you enter the student information. Okay, you are going to be entering your child's student ID or that 9-digit OSIS number. All right, so make sure that when you're entering your child's name, that you enter the full name as stated on school records. This is very important because if you don't enter the name as is stated on school records, when you put in that OSIS number, there's not going to be a match. Okay, so make sure you're entering your full student's name as is on school records so we can get a match to that ID number. So when you enter that student 9-digit ID number, you'll be able to proceed to the next page. Again, if there isn't a match, if the number isn't entered correctly, you're going to get an error message that will appear on the screen to let you know that the number was entered incorrectly. Now, again, we can get this number through our NYC account. We can have our parent coordinator give us this number. But if you keep having these issues, there is a bypass button where that yellow arrow is pointing to that says my child does not have a student ID. Okay, if you click that button, that will allow you to proceed to the next step. So if we go to the next slide, when you click that button, up pops this window. So they're going to ask for additional information, and they do that here so they can locate and find your child within the system to make sure that they get placed at the right site. Okay, so again, you need to enter the OSIS number, but if you're having trouble, we're going to click that blue button that will bring us to this window. And then you'll be allowed to enter additional information. You will be asked to enter the date of birth, the current grade, the gender, and the name of the school. Okay. So again, make sure you're clicking that button. All right, so after that, you'll enter the information, and then you'll be allowed to proceed to the next page of registration. So now we come to the program information. If you can go back one slide. So here is where you're going to select the CBO programs that are taking place at the summer site. Here is where you're going. So if the summer site has more than one CBO, you're encouraged to apply as many as possible to ensure your child gets placed into a program. And I do see that there are questions in the chat, and I am definitely going to answer these questions in a moment. I'm just going to get through this portal, and then we're going to go back and answer all those questions, okay? All right, so now you'll see a drop-down menu. You'll see all your choices, and you'll be able to select from those choices. Okay. Oh, and just a reminder, current 5th grade students can apply to K-5 programs or 6 to 8 programs. So after you select your programs, you're going to see the preference order of your schools, and you're going to see it one more time before you submit your application. So in the next slide, this is what you're going to see. So you can make sure that you can check over the information before you click submit, which is in the bottom right-hand corner. After you click submit, you're going to come to the final page, which will thank you for registering, and it'll give you the option to apply for an additional student. So if you have another child that you would like to fill out an application for, at this point, you'll be allowed to do that. All of your information will already be in there, and then you're just entering the new student's information. If you are only submitting for one child, then you are done. You completed the process, and then you will receive an email with confirmation of registration. Okay, now for families who submit an application and then would like to make updates to their preferences or withdraw their application, can do so using the link included in their application confirmation email. Changes and withdrawals can only be done during the application window. Please note, when a change is submitted, the most recent application will entirely overwrite any prior revisions. So make sure when you update the information that you re-enter all of the information previously entered. Okay, that's very, very important. All right, so at this time, I'm going to take a look into the chat box and answer some questions. Okay, so Magna, is there any information beyond the name of the program on the application portal? When I looked at it, just listed the name and location, but no additional information. Can you say more about that, please, Magna?
Yeah, so I didn't see any information about anything beyond just the name of the program. So no information about like what other activities are going to be happening. And the reason I'm asking is because I had 2 experiences with Summer Rising. First year was great. You know, lots of activities, lots of outdoor time. Second year, my son reported back that he was playing video games and wasn't allowed to go outside. So I just want to know what's actually happening at these programs.
So after you apply, the CBO who will be handling that enrichment extended day will be able to share information about that. But it is designed to be a camp experience with outdoor time. So any questions you have about that CBO, you are encouraged to reach out to them and ask those questions. And they would be better able to answer those.
So we
They're
have
all
to
different.
investigate each individual CBO and then make a decision that way. There's no way to like get that information onto the website.
You should.
I mean, that's pretty
yeah.
onerous.
Well, you can go to the
parents.
you can go to the DC YD website, which should have a list of those programs if you want to learn more about them. And then please note that the CBO that's attached to your student school during the school year goes with them to that
Sorry,
site.
I'm not totally following.
Okay, so all of the schools are going to be clustered at different sites, right? So the CBOs come with the schools. So if your school normally has a certain after-school program that's sponsored by DYCD, that program follows the child to the summer site. That's why a summer site can have more than one CBO.
Well, my current school has an after-school program, but I don't see that program listed anywhere.
It may not be, it may not be part of a DYCD.
I see.
Why
Okay.
don't you get, yeah, so unfortunately, that's the best that I can say right now about that. I don't believe that they have them listed on the website. But as soon as you find out where your child's going, you'll be able to find out more about what that program does. Okay.
So I just, Paul, maybe drop your email in the chat too. So if people have questions that don't get answered, or they have follow-ups, or they go home and think about it a little bit, or they try the application, that they can reach out. That would be really helpful.
I will definitely give you my email address, but I'm also going to, if you can just open up the PowerPoint again, there is a email address specific to summer school. And you are welcome to reach out to them directly too. So it's summer@schools.nyc.gov. And if we can
drop that in the chat.
If we can drop that in the chat, we can also drop in the website again, so people have that direct website to the landing page for summer school where the application for the portal is too. Okay. So I'm going to continue to take a look at these questions here. Is the program available for 5-year-old kids who are currently in pre-K? No, unfortunately, I do not think it's just for K to 5. Okay.
Yeah.
I was able to sign up one child, but not my other child. If you are having trouble locating your students in the program, please make sure you bring that to the attention of your parent coordinator.
I do know back in the beginning, Paula, we had a question from David. Am I correct that you said that August 11th to 18th for K to 5 will not include academics?
Yes, that is correct. The academics will technically end on June 10th because the Friday of programs is just all extended day. And then after the 11th, it's just all extended day enrichment, all camp.
And then Ed Marino, you may want to unmute and talk a little bit more about this. Try to do that. I get for my child, it isn't in the system. I was able to sign up one child, but not my other child. I don't know if you want to talk more about that. Okay, so let's, we can put that again in the chat, or you can email from Perler's mom. My child is already registered. She's in kindergarten. I want her to be in the program, but 8 to 6 are too many hours. Is there another option besides 8 to 12 or 8 to 6? Anything in between?
Okay, so when you apply to the program, you're applying to the full day program. However, if you have concerns that it's such a long day for your child, that's when you reach out to the summer school site and you can work that out with them and their CBO.
Thank you. And from Imani Brown, if the child is currently in 8th grade, can they apply for summer rising?
Yes.
Yes. All right. And from the Frias family, it's making me choose 3 preferences. I only want to apply to one. My fear is if I put more than one preference, my children could be enrolled in other programs I do not want.
So the recommendation is to choose at least 3 programs, because if you choose just one, you may not get that because everyone else is applying. That's why they encourage you to apply to as many as you can that site is offering. Those CBOs are offering at the same site. So even if you have 2 children at the same site and there are 2 different programs, they'll be at the same site, if that makes sense.
From Evelyn Marrero, what happens if your child has been going to a specific school? What is the possibility of them continuing going there? Do you mean like last year they went to a specific program, Evelyn? Or are they currently enrolled in a school and?
Yes, they have been going to a specific site for a couple of years. So what is the possibility of them going back to that site as well as their fellow classmates that have always gone to that site?
So this year, things were done a little differently. And so your child and any other child from your child's school will all be going to the same site. They're all assigned to the same site.
Okay, I have a second question to that as well,
Okay.
because it didn't, obviously doesn't allow you to choose only one, it makes you choose 3. My child is going to,
CBOs.
yes.
Yeah.
So my child is going to graduate this year, so I know he has the option of going to a middle school, but I don't want him to go to the middle school just yet. Well, just because he's gone to that specific school, is he going to be bumped because now 5th graders have the option to go into the middle school?
No, you have the option to apply for a 5th grade or an 8th grade program. So that's your choice.
Okay, but because it didn't allow me for where I live, the options are extremely far other than the one school. So
Got it.
I'm concerned that if my kid gets bumped out because there's not enough spacing, I'm forced to put him in a middle school.
So again, the school where your child is currently attending is assigned to a specific site. So they will be going to that site.
Okay. Yeah, right. And that's obviously space limited, right? Is that correct, Paula?
Yeah, but there's right, which is why we have to make sure we apply time, timely.
Absolutely. We had a direct message from Jenny. Are you able to filter by location or borough?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a resident expert stepping up. Thank you.
Yay, thank you.
No problem. You can search by zip code, by school, by borough. I've done all the options, but
Okay.
my concern was every school that I chose because they had Summer Rising last year is not even on the list this year.
Mm.
And the schools that were an option, like either in my neighborhood or near my neighborhood, are still too far. And then in the opposite direction of where I work. So and then 2 schools combined, because it'll tell you that, this school, this particular elementary school was assigned to this Summer Rising program. So that's a conflict because we don't know those areas for a lot of parents.
Mhm.
And then the one district that is not on the list is District 15. Now one school.
Really?
Yeah. Now one school. It took me 30 minutes to figure out, what schools to choose. Cause I was doing the application process just yesterday, 9 a.m. And not one school in District 15 was available. Wasn't even on the list.
Would you mind just sending me an email so that I can forward your concern?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Christine, did you drop my email in the chat box?
Is it P. Stein with a number or no number?
3.
Sorry, I just wanted to add Brooklyn New School, I believe is District 15, and it's on there.
Yeah, it didn't come up by zip code.
It's, yeah, it's definitely a District 15 school.
Okay, because I didn't even see that one. Because I was specifically looking for literally schools in District 15.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on there. So, and it's District 15.
Thank
Okay.
you so much for sharing that, Jennifer. And also yesterday, the website almost crashed.
Oh my God.
And I know just from experience as a parent that just applied to middle and high schools,
Wow.
that when there's too many people on the system cannot handle it. And I remember specifically looking for schools programs that I knew existed and
Yeah.
couldn't get them because there was so much traffic. So
Okay.
that could be why, if Jennifer is saying that it's on there,
Okay.
you might want to refresh and try again,
Okay. So
because all of the 15 sites should be on there.
okay. So I can go back, log in and what they call modify.
You can modify, you just
okay.
have to re-enter all the information, but
Okay.
I'm gonna recommend that you do that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
someone just added, sorry, in the chat, several schools actually in District 15.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
so it might have been a traffic issue, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we
Well-
have 6 sites in the district, so those should
Okay.
all pop up.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
So look at that, as a group, we solved a problem.
I love it.
Yes. Will my child receive his IEP services?
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
12-month mandate.
if they have a 12-month mandate, yes.
If they have a 12-month mandate.
Okay.
Okay, this is specific, I guess, to BNS. You might have to find out from them. I'm not sure. Will the entire day be on site at BNS or at the Y in the afternoon?
So I will tell you that Diane is going to be leading the program, and you can ask her, you can directly
Hi, how can I
reach
help
out
you?
and ask her. She'll be able to answer that question.
Yeah, that might be site specific. From Ed Marino again, I tried to sign my child up, but it says the OSIS number is invalid. And then when I tried it the second way, it says they don't have any record of him.
Okay, so I would say at that point, send me an email, CC your principal and your parent coordinator, and I will forward it to the Summer Rising office so they can help you with that.
Great. Can we miss some of the scheduled time due to travel? That's from Devin.
Meaning if you arrive late to the program?
Or I'm guessing, or if you're taking a week vacation, is that what we mean?
Yeah, week vacation.
And what's the question?
Can we miss some of the scheduled time due to travel? So if they pull the child for the week they're going to be away, will they lose the spot?
I think if they're accepted to the program already, then I don't think so, but I can double check that for you.
Here's a question. Good morning. Who takes care of kids on the outside activities? Will it be teenagers or professional staff? So for the CBO portion, it's dependent upon who they have hire and train for their staff, I'm imagining. I would hope, I hope it's all professional trained staff.
Yeah, it's all professional trained staff.
Okay, Hillary, is it better for K-5 kids to be in K-5 or K-5, 6 to 8 situation? I just want my kids to be safe and cared for. So that's, I mean, if you have a
That's
kid
me.
who's in
I
fifth
asked that
grade.
question.
Hi.
I have
If
a
you
kid
a-
who's in first grade.
Okay, so then they would go to a K-5 site,
Yes.
wherever your school
Yes.
is assigned. That's where they
So
would
I'm
be.
looking at Madiba School Prep, which has K through 5 as well as 6 to 8. And it seems perfect because it's right down the block. We usually go to BNS, so
Mhm.
Brooklyn New School. So whoever asked that question, BNS is great. They ran it last year out of the school to Merv's Point. It was on site all day, but they took a lot of trips. The Bronx Zoo, I think the last day was like Coney Island. They went hard. It was beautiful. But we wanted to see if we could do something closer to us. So it just seems like it's gonna be party at Madiba Prep, which is great. But I just want to make sure my kid doesn't get run over by the big kids.
So I'm going to suggest that that's something, a site specific. So you may want to inquire from them, like, how are they separated? Are they separated? I'm going to guess that they're not mixing the middle school with the elementary program, that they're just sharing the building and not necessarily space. In general, when we have, during the school year, we have elementary schools sharing a building with a middle school. They negotiate that so the kids are in the space alone, not with the other school. Does that make sense? So
I do understand. That's perfect. Second
So,
question.
yeah.
Oh,
No, go ahead, please.
we did, yeah, thank you. We did BNS last year and it was great, but I want to do Mediba prep for this year, or one of the other 2 schools that are closer to us, to give my kid a commute break, and then apply for BNS on the end, just in case those 2 don't come through. Would we be more likely to get the closer option, or will we probably end up at BNS because that's where we're enrolled?
So, Paula, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a preference. That's why you put it, your preference 1, your preference 2, your preference 3. So the system will do its best to match you with your preference in order that you put them.
Okay.
So is it impossible that you'd end up at BNS? No, but they will try to get you into your first preference, your first option.
Got you. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, the school my children actively go to offer summer rising, will they automatically be rolled in their current school? That's from the Frias family.
I believe that, so all of the schools right now are coordinated to a specific site. So if you want your child to go to stay with the kids that they would normally stay with during the year, if they're going to summer school, then I would select to go to the school that your school is assigned to.
And from Jennifer Willard, if we don't get into one of our choices, what happens? Are we waitlisted? Can we reach out directly to the school and CBO to see if there is space?
So there isn't a central wait list this year.
So is there any way that parents, do we know of, or something we need to find out if space becomes available? I mean, or is that just?
Let's see, I'm just checking the website. So I remember seeing somewhere that there wasn't a wait list. But you can certainly contact the school to ask that question. I think what's happening this year, since there isn't a central wait list, that they are encouraging families to contact their
the program directly, the school directly, the host site.
Got it. Thank you very much.
All right, and from Nuri, apologies, it's already asked. I don't believe it was. Are siblings accepted into the same school?
I do not think so. I am not sure.
Right, there's no preference stated.
Yes.
Okay. And from G Perez, how do you handle days they won't be attending? Do you mean when the school is closed, like say for a holiday, or you mean your child won't be attending for another reason that day?
Well, I'm just saying, like, it seems like the question was answered. It was if there was like a vacation or, you know, something else that they may have to do, that they will be absent. What's the process?
Yeah, so it's, in terms of that, I would treat the summer rising as you would your everyday
school.
Communicate. You'll every site will have a principal in charge and an AP in charge, and every CBO on the site will have some kind of supervisor. So you want to make sure you find out who those folks are, and you know how to contact them, and you communicate.
Yep.
My child goes to a school far but has a site close by. Can he go to the school nearby? Yes, you can put that as your first option, your first preference. You're not necessarily tied to your home school for summer rising. Okay, from Tasha, I have a unique situation where I live in Queens, but my children go to school in Brooklyn, the preference is to put them close. Will they be selected Brooklyn because they attended last year? Not necessarily. Again, it's your preference. They try to match you with your first preference. So it's similar to when you apply to 3K, pre-K, kindergarten, middle school, and high school, right? Put your first choice first. Is the program first apply, first serve?
No, it's not first come, first serve. And
Are they-
that's because there are mandated students. There are prioritized
Right,
students. They
take the
go
seats
through
first.
the prioritized students that take the seats first, and then after that.
Okay, and Hillary
Fill the
is
seats.
asking again, is there my kid's school where they're enrolled is far, there's another program, summer rising program on our block, are they more likely to get into the closer option? It's hard for us to say more likely or not. It's really site specific. It depends upon the seats, what seats are already given to mandated, how many people are applying for the seats. Did you put them as your first preference? It's not a call that we can make, unfortunately. But again, put them first. If that's the one you want first, put it first. It would be better if they provided a map. PS32, PS38, PS130, and BNS are the sites. Thank you, Teresa. I see that you put that in the chat. Here's a link to where you can find the CBOs and the websites. Thank you, Marge. You can try 11231 for the Brooklyn New School. Thanks for that zip code. Oh, here's the programs on the maps. Thanks again, Marge. BNS has a great SR program. We did it last year. They're on point. A lot of shout outs for BNS. I'm going to make sure I pass that on to Principal Castellucci. They need a district map on the website. Good feedback. We'll see if we can escalate that. I'm not sure it'll happen for this year, but you know, when they're planning again for next year, but that's great feedback. Last year, BNS was all on site. The link to the map, there's a link to a map. March just has this stuff at the fingertips. Thanks so much. BNS, I enrolled my children, this is from Meredith, last year, and they did not receive their IEP services. They had 12-month IEP. Can we talk more about this? Yeah, I mean, I guess my question would be, were you able to talk to anyone about that? What were you able to take any steps? Did you communicate with anyone? I'll be honest, these IEP services are not my area, so Paula or Brenda, if you want to comment, that would be appreciated.
Right, so those are some of the kids that are like mandated. For example, the summer school and the ones who are mandated, and they have priority, right?
Right.
And they are supposed to receive the services. And my advice would be to speak to the principal.
Yeah, if your child is 12-month and required to receive the services, speak to the principal in charge. Remember, we talked about make sure that once you've settled, you have your site, you're ready to send your kids, that you find out who the principal is in charge and how to communicate with them. You can always reach out to us in the district office if you need that information for who is in charge and how you can get in touch. You can also reach out to us. I'm going to put my email in the chat to facilitate any of these conversations.
And even their current principal.
Yes, and you can also, Brenda has asked me to add, you can also contact your current principal. So if you're going to a site that's not at your yearly site, you can always reach out to your principals. Principals are 12-month employees, so they are on the job. And the way that we structure Summer Rising is, even though they're a principal in charge of the site, all of the principals are available because, you know, they may have information about your child because they deal with your child every day during the school year. So definitely communicate, reach out. So, and again, please reach out to me or anyone in the district office if you need help facilitating some of those conversations. Okay, let me see if we can just get that. From Ev, who do I talk to for help enrolling my second child? I went to a school and they didn't know what I was talking about and refused to help me. That's unfortunate to hear. Do you mean in Summer Rising?
Yes, I need help with I was able to enroll my first child, but my second child is actually in Catholic private school, and when you click that my child doesn't have a ID number, and I looked up the name and everything of the school, it pops up and everything, but it's saying that they have no record of my son.
Now, Paula, would that be because they're in a school outside the system?
Yes.
And what should we advise as a parent? Do you know?
I am not really sure, but we can reach out and ask that question. And again, there is an email that Christine had shared earlier. And I would ask the program director directly so that they are more equipped
Do you
to
know, like,
answer
the-
those technical questions than I would be. So please use that summer inbox to send your question.
Do you know the wait time for like a response back? Because I emailed them yesterday at like 10 in the morning as soon as I wasn't able to do it. And I just want to know, like, what's the expected wait time to get an email back?
Well, this is the beginning of the process, so I'm going to assume that that inbox is a little overwhelmed. But I would say that the next time you send the email, just CC me on it so I'm aware, and then I can always reach out directly to the director on your behalf.
Okay, thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome.
Sure, of course. How do we know which school our current school is assigned to? You mean for summer site? You can check with your parent coordinator. Your parent coordinator should be able to tell you. No problem. You can also email me. I don't have the list in front of me right now. But yeah, your schools already know. They know which site your child is assigned to. They also know the principal in charge, so you can get a head start on finding out, making sure you have that information, emails, phone numbers, etc. And also it says in the application. I have 2 children at 2 different schools recently. For safety reasons, how would determination be made for both children? Based on what you put in your application and where your school, where your child is attending school. They would be sent to the site where your school is linked, right? So not every school has a summer rising program, but it's generally a geographic area where a cluster of schools will be cited at one school.
Okay, so here is a question. When will we find out which school our child got accepted to? So 1 week after the application window closes.
Are meals provided? I'm going to say yes. Paula, do you know?
I believe so,
Yeah.
yes. So here's another question about whether we can pick up children early. So again, when you apply for the program, you're applying for a full day seat. If you do not want your child to stay for the full day, then reach out directly to the host site to work that out.
From Brian Seguier, we put our assigned summer rising location District 15 as our first choice, but school in another district is more convenient for us than some in our district. Will we rank much lower for the school out of our district? Again, it's those 3 options that you put, so it's going to be according to your preference, but also if you go to District 15 school that is assigned to the site, that in District 15, that's where they'll send you if there's a seat available. Hillary's asking, has anyone had experience with St. Nick's Alliance or Global Kids CBO? Are they good? Do they take trips? If so, where? If you have, please just drop that in the chat. We caught about children picked up early. Can parents chaperone or accompany the child? Pearl, I'm guessing that you mean for if they go on a trip. Again, that would be site specific. Generally, the CBOs provide staff, but if they request chaperones, I'm sure they have a system for that. You would check with them. What percentage of the seats available for mandated students per site? Is there a breakdown? That's from Tasha. That I don't know.
Yeah, I just think it depends per school.
Yeah, like there are a lot of variables.
There are a lot of variables.
Okay, we answered when we'll find out which site accepted our child. It would be helpful to know exactly what criteria the DOE is using for priority in what order. My child's school is in Carroll Gardens, but we live in Sunset Park. So specifically, I need to know if my child gets higher priority for being a current student or for living nearby a school.
Okay, so prioritized students include mandated for summer school for so here are the prioritized students. Students included are mandated for summer school for academic reasons, students in temporary housing and students in foster care, students in 12-month IEP programs, and students with a local connection to the school year CBO program or school community. That is the information that they are providing right on the landing page for summarizing.
Thank you for that, Paula. I just want to take a moment to mention for District 15, the elementary school sites are PS 32, PS 94, BNS, and PS 130. 32 is at Union and Hoyt Street. 94 is on 6th Avenue and 53rd Street? 50th Street, sorry about that. BNS, I don't know the exact address. I know there's a lot of BNS people here. You can just shout that out. And PS 130 is on Caton Avenue and East 7th Street. For middle schools, we are located at MS 88, which is 7th Avenue and 17th Street. And also the Brooklyn High School for the Arts MS 447 site, which is down on Dean Street off of 3rd Avenue. Another suggestion for next year would be helpful if the application cited a little bit about each CBO programming. I think that's another great piece of feedback, which we will pass on. And Gisela wants to know, what about PS 15? PS 15 has its own site this year. So they are open for PS 15 students and PS 676 students, or the Harbor School. Thank you, Melinda. BNS is Henry Street and Rapley Street. Is busing available to all kids who receive busing during the school year, or only a subset of those kids?
Okay, so there were the two options. There were the curb to school busing and the stop to school. So curb to school busing are students registered for summer with IEPs recommending transportation will receive busing at 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. with a rideshare option at 6. This includes students in temporary housing, students with foster care, and students with 504s who received busing during their 10-month program. Students participating in ESY and ASD programs will also be bused at their program start and end times. If they're staying till 6 p.m., they will be able to access the 6 p.m. rideshare. Stop to school are students who receive stop to school service during the school year and are registered for summer school. They can receive busing to the summer site, provided that the summer site is a half a mile or more away from the home school and the summer site is within the district, if that answers the questions.
So that's a lot of information. So I just want to ask, does anyone in our interpretation rooms, I ask the interpreters, are there any questions? Just take a pause for that. All right, so I think that there is a bit of a pause now with our questions. I want to thank you all for being here. There's amazing discussions, fantastic questions. Thank you for all of those who mentioned and dropped information in the chat to help round out the talk. That was fantastic, and we truly appreciate the community mindedness of it. I just also want to remind everyone, during this process, a key person for you will be your parent coordinator. That should be a person that you think of, oh, I have a question, I'm not sure what to do or who to ask. Always pop in or send an email to your parent coordinator and they can direct you. You can always reach out to us here at the district office as well. You can always contact the summer school mailbox directly, summer@schools.nyc.gov. As Paula said, feel free to CC her. You can CC me. Sometimes that helps us keep track of what's being asked and to follow up for you. And don't be shy or embarrassed about poking us. That's why we're here, to support and to help throughout the process and throughout the summer as well. So with that, I'd like to close this meeting and thank you all so very much for being here, and give our very great thanks to Paula for presenting and giving us her time and answering so many questions for us. Have a great day and good luck with the application process.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day, everyone.
Paula, can I ask one more question before I go?
Sure.
So I try to modify his application process, right? And none of the schools that I'm choosing are on the list. or coming up at all. What should I do?
Can you, well, after everybody leaves, I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to stay on and then maybe you can share your screen so I can see.
Okay.
You can walk me through the process
Okay.
if that's
Yeah,
okay.
I can definitely share my screen.
Okay, so
Should I share it now?
I have to make you a co-host. Could you hold 1 minute? We still have some people
Hey, I'm
here.
sorry, I'm still on
ahead.
because I wanted to add private school students are not eligible for summarizing. That was my experience last year. So the parent who had the question about Catholic school, that's why they can't find them.
yeah,
Oh, this year they're
Thank
not
you.
eligible?
Well, that's what I experienced last year.
Yeah,
They said,
Yeah, because last year we had private school children in the summarizing program.
yeah, well, I was told differently.
Oh, I'm so
Oh,
sorry about that, but yes,
sorry.
we did have.
Okay, so are they allowed this year?
And that's a question that we're directing to the summer office so we can get clarification on that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So Kim, if you just want to shoot one of us an email, and this way, but then we.
No,
we get
we're
an
at
answer, you can
BNS
respond.
now, it's fine.
Oh, okay, so, okay. Yeah, my understanding is that they are, but we'll double check and try to get that information
Right.
out to our
Mhm.
community.
All right, thanks. Have a
But
good
thanks for
one.
that
You're
insight.
welcome.
No problem.
Okay, I'm gonna start removing people.
And I think we could also end the recording too
Yeah.
at this point.